श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिनी व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. In this talk series, we have completed three very important chapters, 13, 14 and 15. All three of them are intense Jnanam-centered chapters, and they are unfolding Brahma Vidya or Tattvamasi Mahavakyam. And it's about self-knowledge. Self-knowledge and self-knowledge is the direct means for moksha. But where is the self-knowledge going to happen? In the mind, right? In this Antakarana Sukshma Shariram called the mind. But what kind of mind is eligible for gaining self-knowledge? Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannaha Adhikari mind. In one word, it is also called the Samskrita Manas. Now, we have already seen Samskrita Manas is a mind that is polished, purified and prepared to receive this liberating knowledge. An unprepared mind, that is if called Prakrita Manas. Prakrita literally means primitive. So an unrefined, unpolished, unprepared mind cannot receive the teachings of the Gita, the Upanishads and all the Prakarana Granthas. We cannot even sit in a class and it will not enter or settle down and be assimilated. So these two chapters, 16 and 17, are all about Yoga Shastra. So Yoga Shastra is the way to prepare the mind, purify and polish it so that I gain a Samskrita Manas. And how do we do that? This Yoga Shastra is all described in great detail in the Veda Purva Bhaga of the Vedas. The Veda Purva Bhaga is all about how to, do Karma Yoga, Upasanas, prayers, rituals, so that I can gain the Antakarana Shuddhi. So that the mind will be ready for the Jnana Kanda portion of the Vedas. So today we are going to see the summary and highlights of chapter 16, which is called Daiva Sura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga. So Vibhaga we already know is the distinction. So Sri Krishna is now going to describe two kinds of Prakriti. Prakriti here means two kinds of disposition, natures. One is the Daivi Sampat or the divine Sampat. Sampat is wealth. And Asuri Sampat. Asuri Sampat is the demonic or the Asuri, nature. These two natures. Then Krishna says, the Daivi Sampat, the wealth, the divine wealth alone is what Mokshaya Bhavanti. It is meant for moksha. So the set of values and attitudes that we've already seen before also, they are very necessary, but they're not sufficient. So they prepare the mind and then Jnanameva Moksha. So for Jnanam, we need a polished Samskrita Manas, and that is gained by this Daivi Sampat. In contrast, the Asuri Sampat, the devilish, traits in one, that is Krishna is going to say the gateway to Narakalokas, to bondage. Nibandhaya Asuri Sampat. Now, we saw earlier in the Guna chapter 14 that all the three gunas are present in varying degrees in each individual. Yeah. And sattva, rajas, and tamas. So the guna levels are at a subtle level, at the level of samskaras. Whereas these two pravrittis, these two dispositions are at the level of traits, personality. So the outcome of sattva will be Devi Sampat, and the outcome of rajas and tamas will be Asuri Sampat. And so these gunas are present in all of them, in everyone in varying degrees. So we find that even a worst, offender or a criminal will have somewhere some soft corner, some ray of affection may be there. And even the most sattvic person may have a vulnerable, spot, a red flag. May have some degree of impatience or anger or insecurity will be there. And so this chapter is going to present both these prakritis, and it's a short chapter of just 24 verses, and it's all about how can we fine tune our mind and how can we upgrade the quality of our life. All this guna chapter and this chapter, they are not meant for us to go around judging and labeling people. Oh, my in-laws and my boss, how angelic they are, or they're monsters. No. This is for self-examination and introspection. Just like when we go to a doctor for a medical diagnosis, we do all the lipid profile, blood profile, TSH, and sugar. Why? We want to know the parameters, whether they are increasing or decreasing. Same thing. We have here a checklist of 26 Devi qualities in the first three verses. And then the bulk of the chapter is devoted to Asuri Sampat. Why? Kali Yuga, what else? We see around us that very few minority will be studying Bhagavad Gita, will be resorting to satsangs and have Ishvara Arpanam and Ishvara Smaranam, Prasada Buddhi. And Krishna has already told this at the end of Dwapara Yuga to Uddhava. He says, Uddhava, I'm leaving. Now Kali has entered. So, and prescribes a few sadhanas. So, this chapter is all about adhikaritvam, how to weed out the impurities from my mind. So, broadly, this chapter has only three topics, and they are, firstly, first three verses are about the 26 values and attitudes, and all of them are interconnected, and we have seen some of them in the earlier chapters. If you remember, chapter 13, Amanitvamadam Vidvam, some repetition will be here. Then at the end of chapter 12, Bhakti Yoga, Adveshta Sarva Bhutana, Maitra Karuna Evacha also. And we are going to see also in the last two chapters also. So, first Daivi Sampat, then the bulk of the chapter is Asuri Sampat, and then finally, very important shlokas about how do we know, which is Daivi Sampat, which is Asuri Sampat, and what to do. Shastra is the only pramanam. That is, the Shastras guide the jivas and give us the do's and the don'ts. So let's go to the first shloka. Shri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastapa Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodha Tyagashantirapaishunam Daya Bhuteshvalo Luptvam Madhavam Hrirachapalam Tejaha Kshama Dhriti Shaucham Adroho Natimanita Bhavanti Sampadam Deivim Abhijatasya Bharata. Now, so these three verses collectively they are called the Daivi Samgama. So we will quickly review these 26 values. The first one is Abhayam. Hmm? Abhayam is fearlessness, something that is really lacking in our current times. We see that the whole atmosphere today is gripped with fear, everybody. Fear of Yamaha. Yamaha who can appear at any time, any place, in any form. Right? Who is fearless then? Only the Jnani. The Jnani is the only person who is totally fearless because he has gained the self-knowledge. Panditaha na anishochanti. Shoka moha bhayam is not there for the Jnani. But to reach that point, when we have to build the trust, that is, live an meaningful, prayerful life, bringing more Ishvara into one's life through all the principles I've seen before, Ishvara, Arpanam, and Prasada Buddhi. So all this is going to reduce the fear until, as in the case of Jnani, we attain absolute fearlessness. Then second one is Sattva Samshuddhihi. Sattva Samshuddhihi, here Sattva means the mind. So Antakarana Shuddhi. Purity of the mind is removal of the impurities of Raga, Dvesha, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, all these internal agitating values. We remove them how? By having satsanga, prayerful life, and surrender, Ishvara Smaranam, Sattva Samshuddhi. Third one is Jnana Yoga Vyavasthitihi. Vyavasthitihi is a commitment. So this value is the same as Adhyatma Nityatvam of chapter 30. That is, I have to have systematic, consistent pursuit in this Shravanam, Shastra Shravanam. And then that will give me that purity, inner purity. So Shravanam, Mananam, Nividhyasnam has to be prioritized in my life. Then we come to Dhanam. So Dhanam is, a value which is very important in our culture. Yeah, it is donating, charity, giving, not just dhanam, but it can be in the form of time, skill, resources, just even a smile, and a listening ear can be dhanam. But the Shastra says Shraddhaya Deyam, Ashraddhaya Adeyam. Whenever we give, let us give with humility. Huh? And let us give with the hope that the receiver will accept it. We should be giving to a deserving person with Shraddha, with humility. What will it do to us? So, Yajna Dana Tapak Karma Pavanani Manishina. So, Krishna has said they will purify our mind. In fact, the Shastra says the one who donates will not only have a peaceful life, but a peaceful death also. Because there will be detachment. The one who can give has such an expansive state of the mind that he will not have a clinging feeling. This belongs to me, that ownership will go away. So that is a very high value here called dhanam, which results in detachment. Then we have damaha. Damaha means indriya nigraha. Indriya nigraha is the physical disciplines. Yeah, physical disciplines and restraint in speech and conduct. Yeah, self-restraint, mastery. Then yajnaha. Now yajnaha, we know the whole chapter 3 of the Bhagavad Gita is devoted to yajna. Yajna literally means puja. So whatever we do, yattit karma karomi tattad akhilam shambho tavaradhanam. So that attitude that whatever I do is for the sake of Ishvara and whatever I receive is from Ishvara. So that is the spirit of offering, yajna. And the Shastras also say the Pancha Mahayajnas are in fact mandatory for the Grahasthas. Yeah, they can afford to do the Pancha Mahayajnas for the same reason, for purity of the mind. Then Swadhyaya, like now, Swadhyaya is devoting every day some time to japa, parayanam, study of the Shastras. Yeah, because we connect to the Guru Parampara, we connect to Narayana through the Gita, and so that also purifies my mind. Then we have Tapaha. Tapas. Tapas is austerity. Yeah. Austerity means what? I voluntarily deny myself comfort. Fasting, In fact, it will be good to do digital fasting, at some point, because we consume so much content, and then that influences the mind, and then that's going to express itself in the external world. So tapas is, what can I do to bring back the emotional balance in me? Some form of self denial with vratams and so on. Then the last value in the first verse is arjavam. We have seen this earlier. Arjavam is rijubhava. Rijubhava means absence of crookedness. So what I promise through words, I have to follow it up. What I think is what I say, is what I do. Alignment. Hmm? So that is the first shloka. Then the second one, verse 2, starts with ahimsa satyamakrodaha tyaga shanti rapaishunam daya bhuteshvalo luptvam mardavam hrihi achapalam. So ahimsa satyam akrodha tyagaha shantihi apaishunam daya bhuteshu aloluptvam mardavam hrihi achapalam. Okay. So ahimsa we have come across before. Ahimsa is a very high value of sensitivity. Sensitivity, I do not want to disturb anyone, but I should practice ahimsa towards myself also. Self-blaming, self-criticizing, having a low opinion of oneself is also to be practiced. So ahimsa is a universal value, but it has to be interpreted locally in the current context. Teachers and parents who sometimes punish their children, that is because they are desiring the higher good. That is again ahimsa. And the security forces which have to shoot at sight, then that is also interpreted as ahimsa only. So the motive really will decide if it is himsa or ahimsa. Then satyam. Satyam is truth, of course, yeah. And here the truth is that satya vachanam. I should speak what is true, but the truth should be priyam and hitam. Yeah. So the truth that I speak should be pleasing to the others and beneficial. It's called the triple filter. Before we speak, let us see whether it is true, whether it is beneficial, whether it is pleasing. Yeah. And if one of the criteria is not fulfilled, maybe we just need to keep quiet, maunam. Because otherwise satyam will contradict ahimsa, right? So we have to balance both the values. Yeah. Then we have akrodaha. Akrodaha is absence of anger. Now, absence of anger, we know, is very important. And how we have seen the ladder of destruction in chapter 2, that anger is a very destructive emotion. And how it connects to the desire. Why do we get angry? Because there is raga dvesha in my mind. So when I am able to manage my own expectations from the people around me, from the world, and convert binding, demanding desires into non-binding, demanding desires, yeah, then I will not be subject to anger. Yeah. So absence of anger. Then we have tyagaha. Tyagaha is renunciation. So renunciation here is not a physical renunciation. That is, I give up home, job, family, possessions. No. It is the attitude of absence of ownership. That is, I do not own anything. Everything is given and gifted to me. So I make use of it and I share my resources wherever I can. And that is the tyagaha. I'm a trustee. The notion of trustee. Then apaishunam. This, shanti, yeah. Shanti is peace. Now there are two levels of peace. One is the absolute shanti, that is Swarupa Shanti, Satchit Ananda Shanti. Peace is the nature of Atma. But here we are talking about the relative shanti. The shanti in the mind. Can I have that samatvam in the mind in every situation? So that is to be practiced here. Freedom from stress and samatvam in the mind. Then aloluptvam. No, aloluptvam or apaishanam, sorry. Apaishanam. Now, see, paishanam is, what we see on the social media. Sometimes there is so much attacking going on, heated debates, trolling, and hate mails, and that is called paishanam. So, mumukshu, that is one seeking freedom and moksha, will never enter into arguments and heated debates because they only generate heat and no light. So, they will stay away from all this scandal mongering, backbiting, mudslinging. This is going to bring the mind down drastically. So, that is apaishanam. Then we have daya bhuteshu. Daya bhuteshu is compassion towards the entire creation. So compassion, to live, not only live, but to let live. So to cause least or no disturbance to the environment, giving freedom to the world. Then aloluptvam. Aloluptvam is absence of loluptvam. That is absence of a craving. So craving can be of all sorts. Sattvic craving, rajasic craving, tamasic craving for drugs, alcohol, excessive talking, excessive going out, excessive spending wealth. Anything in excess is poison. So aloluptvam is bringing in the balance. Yuktahara viharasa, we saw that earlier. Balance in anything we do, job, recreation, eating, sleeping, working, aloluptvam. Then Mardhavam. Mardhavam is Mridu Bhava. Mridu Bhava is softness. Softness is to the way I express, the way I disagree can be in a way that I don't cause hurt to others. So, softness and gentleness in handling people and situations. Some people can do this very beautifully, They remain very calm and gentle even in the midst of a storm, whereas there are some who will run into a road rage on the roads, and some are able to do very balanced talking and calming down the entire situation. So they have really this Ritu Bhavaha. Yes, correct.
Very soft.
Very soft, correct. Hrihi. Now, hrihi means modesty. Yeah, a modesty and shyness. Shyness, that is avoiding the limelight, not wanting praise and some kind of glorification and demanding respect, but to be at peace with oneself. Then the last one, the second verse is achapalam. The chapalam, chapalam is the nature of a monkey. So achapalam is to be very steady in the mind, absence of restlessness. Some people you notice when they're sitting itself, they'll be restless, and they will be, crackling their knuckles or biting their nails, something. So that shows an internal agitation also. Sthiram Sukham Asanam. If you have a steady posture, if you can sit in a Zoom session for 45-50 minutes, definitely you have Achapanam. And again, the mind and the body are very much interconnected. Now let's look at the third